So originally I was going to make a video about the other Happy Days cartoons, and I still am. But I got a comment from this person, still not found 2470. Here's I'll pop it up on screen right now. They mentioned, because I was talking about when Fonzie and his friends went into space. I said in the video that it doesn't relate to Mickey at all. That this video is not a Mickey video, and then they commented that it could relate. That technically, Mickey is somehow related to Happy Days because Mickey auditioned to be the Fonz on Happy Days. So before we get into the casting of the Fonz and like how Mickey auditioned and stuff like that, and how Henry Winkler was so nervous about the auditions because he saw Mickey and he's like, ah shit, I'm not gonna make this audition, am I? I'm not gonna make this audition. Which I can't blame him. If I was auditioning for something and I saw a freaking monkey at the auditions, I'm packing it up. I'm not even gonna audition anymore. So, surprisingly, Happy Days began as a failure. In the original pilot dubbed New Family in Town, the story centered around the Cunningham family, like in Happy Days. Primarily, teenager Richie, played by Ron Howard. His pal Potsy was there, plus his brother Chuck and his sister Joni? Joni, I don't even know how to pronounce words anymore. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham played a part, but that was it for the core cast. The network passed on the series, tossing it into an episode of Love American Style, an anthology series that often served as a dumping ground for failed pilots. The Suits felt that hip audiences of the 70s would not care about the 50s, but this was in early 1972. Then, Grease came along, as the musical Grease, not the movie. So and also American Graffiti, which starred Ron Howard in it, hit theaters in the movies, and stoked. Basically, because of Grease and American Graffiti, people wanted a 1950s show. Because networks wanted this, A New Family in Town was revived. Ron Howard, Marion Ross, and Anson Williams returned, but the other roles were recast. In addition, Michael Eisner, then an exec at Paramount, wanted a fresh character. We don't have a Paul Le Mat character, he told the creative team. In American Graffiti, Le Mat portrayed John Miller, the tough drag racer who wore a white t-shirt and often kept a cigarette dangling from his lips. He was the James Dean, the greaser. Sound familiar to you? It should. We needed a gang. We needed a bad guy, Gary Marshall later recalled Eisner saying in an interview with Archive of American Television. Marshall's mind immediately went to Gary Cooper and Tufts from his own youth. He pictured the character, originally called the MASH, until the show MASH was a hit, as a silent presence, standing as an imposing figure behind sunglasses. A guy who didn't talk, who would point and do gestures, Marshall explained. But who had played the leather-clad cool kid? This is where we get back to Mickey. In a 25th, I almost said 15, I meant to say 14 episode of Oprah, Where Are They Now? Monkeys member Micky Dolenz revealed that he was up for one show and almost got in it, and it was Happy Days. Dolenz and the eventual Fonzie, Henry Winkler, even bumped into each other at the casting. Dolenz recalls Winkler admitting he would never beat out a monkey for the role. Winkler would have been right if not for the height. I know what you're thinking. Amy, what do you mean by height? Well, Micky Dolenz is 6 foot, and Henry Winkler is 5'6". Due to the height of the rest of the cast, producers favored Winkler, who would more easily fit in the frame with his castmates. Likewise, the 6'1" Micky Dolenz, who played the quiet... Oh, they messed up. Hold on, they messed up the writing here. They meant to say Mike Nesmith because they said 6'1". Mike Nesmith was 6'1". So I think they're trying to say is likewise the 6'1" Mike Nesmith who had played the Quiet Monkey was passed over for the Fonzie gig. They were just too tall. This article kind of messed up a bit. Thanks to a measuring tape, we missed out on AA were the Fonzies. That sounds so stupid. And before I end this video, I want to make it very clear that Mike never auditioned for the Monkeys, not the Monkeys. He never auditioned for Happy Days. Mike was doing his own things in the 70s, but cameos in TV shows was not one of them. Mike only made small appearances in like certain things, like Tapeheads with John Cusack. He was on set for Repo Man, but I don't think he ever made a cameo in that movie. Although it's uncredited that he was a rabbi, but I've watched that movie like twice and I still couldn't find him. But yeah, Mike never auditioned for the Happy Days show. It was Mickey, and Henry Winkler was like, oh god, I'm not gonna get it. But because they wanted a short guy, Mickey didn't get casted. Which, I know what you're gonna say, but I want to see Mickey in this. Don't you worry, don't you worry. Mickey played a greaser in an episode of Adam 12. You know, it was like a cop show back then. And he played a greaser. If I can pull up clips, I would, but I can't, which kind of sucks. But I'll pull up pictures. This is the way it looks like. He looks really hot. And I'm not gonna lie to you. He would be the perfect Fonz. I would have loved, I mean, I don't think he'd be the perfect Fonz because Henry Winkler's the Fonz. He's like the only Fonz I know. But in another universe, if Mickey was the Fonz, it would have been so funny to see this man jump the shark, which is where it comes from. Happy Days invented jumping the shark. It's crazy. But that's it for the video. Oh, I got a comment about something I wrote. I'll have to answer that later. I make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, do all the YouTube things. The next video will be about the Happy Days cartoons. I promise. I promise. And then as for the next videos, I was going to do originally Josie and the Pussycats as my next video after the Happy Days one, but I decided to talk about Devlin instead since someone's recommended that to me, and Mickey's in it, and I haven't talked about that cartoon yet, and I'm really desperately trying to avoid talking about the Mystery Solvers Club State Finals episode from Mystery Incorporated. So, yep, I will see you all later.